A cold bed. Uh-oh. I don't like a cold bed, unless it's like middle of the summer or something. It was the morning several days after Shalu began to cooperate with the research. Touya and I were enjoying a brief chat after our meal. The handmaiden has the rot? We were enjoying it.
Yes. We have her isolated in the underground now, so please keep Her Majesty away from the isolation chamber.
Okay, I feel like we haven't met this handmaiden, I presume. I don't know if we've established if you can, like, recatch the rot after you've had it. I don't know if it's a chickenpox situation, like you get the immunity after you've had it, or what. I can't reply to Mull's report, said with a difficult face. The after-meal snack I had in my hand was an excellent snack made by Uru, but I didn't feel like eating it anymore. I suddenly feel the illusion that my eyes have gone dark, and I tremble.
Is it confirmed? Yes. I've only shown this to multiple doctors, including Mr. Ruzi. However, I see.
Things had been so calm lately. Calm, but the threat has never gone away. The fear of the rot struck close to us. I was struck by it.
What's the progression of her symptoms? According to His Majesty's standards, she's in the second phase. So the second month.
Hearing the report, Touya's face also goes dark. And at last, with the women working with us, I was starting to see some light. But the reality of the situation weighed heavy on my chest.
Have the doctors rotate and give her the medicines under development every day. Report to me immediately if there are any changes. Understood.
The room calmed down when Mull bowed and left the room. The back of my throat felt dry and clogged, as if I'd swallowed sand. Both Touya and I were stunned and self-defeated for a while, looking down on the desk. Even with my eyes open, I haven't seen anything. It was even more shocking that the rot occurred again before the cure was completed, and that it happened so close to us. Did you know the handmaiden who caught the rot? After exhaling once, he lifted his face. Touya, who had deep wrinkles between his eyebrows, seemed to return to me when asked and smiled awkwardly.
I did. She's a castle handmaiden, doing regular interviews for the purpose of prevention.
I see. That is rough. I knew that Touya, who was friendly, would be more affected by it than me, as I didn't really know her. I was worried about how he felt, as he has a strong sense of responsibility and easily blamed himself. Of course, I'm worried about the handmaiden who got the rot. As a woman myself, thinking about that fear makes my stomach hurt. However, I hope he doesn't overdo it. I can see an image of Touya, writhing in regret, engraved into my eyelids. Knowing that now, I can't help but to worry about him.
Thanks.
Huh?
You're worrying about me now, aren't you?
Are you upset? It's not that I don't trust you.
I wouldn't have said thanks if it upset me. You really are very kind.
I'm not kind. The people before me and my friends take priority. Being kind is... I stopped partway and closed my mouth once. It wasn't that I was hesitant to say it, rather I was surprised at how easily the impression came to me. I gazed at Touya's eyes as he waited for the continuation and loosened my eyes. Kindness is someone like you, Touya.
I'm... kind.
Touya stiffened with an expression as if he'd just been told that up was down and down was up. With his mouth hanging slightly open, he didn't move an inch. Yes, you are kind.
I'm the one who kidnapped you, remember?
As I said before, I haven't forgiven everything. Still, I think it's kind of you to struggle for the sake of others. even if you're blamed or given a hard time for it. Before, I would have considered myself a traitor for this. I still do feel a little backlash, but in telling him, I wanted Touya to understand that there's someone here who knows the efforts he's making.
I think you're much kinder. If you deny it, then I'll say you're strong.
Strong?
There aren't many people who can express their heartfelt concern to someone they have an unforgivable past with.
You overestimate me.
People usually stay angry.
Well, there may be people like that.
That's why I'm glad that my queen has accepted me.
Why did you connect it there?
I can't help it. That's just what I thought.
You say what you're thinking far too much.
I have to say it, because you never know when someone is going to die.
Well, that's ominous. Right in front of my breakfast.
But it's true. I could die tomorrow, so I try not to conceal my feelings as much as possible, and convey them when I can.
So you're like the anti-Surin, gotcha. I feel like I've gotten caught on something, like speaking when avoiding eye contact. Is it because the voice that's speaking sounds as if it's reflecting on the past? Was there someone you couldn't convey your feelings to?
Why?
Just a feeling.
Yes. That's right. There are about 2 people I can't apologize to no matter how much I'd like to.
But I couldn't hear more about that as Touya laughed sadly. From how he said it, there is a possibility that the persons he wants to apologize to are dead. I didn't want to ask in a poor manner and reopen old wounds. As I worried about searching for words, Touya lightly flicked between my eyebrows. Apparently, they'd furrowed again. I pressed where he made contact and pursed my lips. Then Touya stood up and turned his chest to the wind as if to make a declaration.
That's why I always say, you are beautiful, strong, kind, and I love you.
Jeez.
Oh yeah, someone is supposed to visit the castle soon, so if that person asks for help, I'd like you to help me.
A visitor?
I wonder who.
If you already know, you can tell me.
Isn't it fun to imagine who it is?
Is it someone I know?
Could be.
Who could it be? I mean, there can be only one option. It's gotta be Auri. Like, everyone else you were close to is here already. I wonder who could be visiting.
Well, personally, I'd prefer it if you didn't meet him.
What's that? If I'm going to help out, then I have to meet them.
A man's feelings are complicated, you know.
Touya heads for the door, leaving behind words that don't make sense. It's your ex-fiancé! As I watched him leave, amazed, he turned his head back and spoke.
But that doesn't matter, so long as you're happy.
What?
See you in the afternoon.
What the hell is that? Oh gosh, you're gonna try to give her back, and she's gonna be like, no, you're my husband, not this guy, and it's gonna be complicated triangle stuff. My soliloquy sounded loud. With Touya gone, I immediately felt that the luxurious room was lonely. But this is no time to be goofing off. When the rot occurs to someone in close proximity, I feel more pressed for time. Actually, I don't have time to worry. If we don't find a cure as soon as possible, we won't be able to save her. Touya said it was the 2nd month. In the meantime, I have to hurry, as there may be more victims. I can't come up with good ideas when I'm impatient. I should calm down first and then think. As I sat down and kept thinking, my head got tired. When I stood by the window to change my mood, I heard the door open behind me.
Her Majesty, I brought you a new drink.
He probably read Mole's report. Uru, who seems to care about my feelings, brought me a new tea. In addition to the steaming tea, red flowers were placed on the tray. It's a lovely little flower in a vial. Thanks. What's with the flower?
It's a new bloom in the courtyard. From His Majesty to Her Majesty.
I see. I figured he would be pressed mentally, but he was worried about me. I'm moved by this gesture. But that flower reminds me of something.
Come on, girl, put it together.
I tried to figure out what it reminded me of. After thinking about various flowers, I hit upon one that fit perfectly. It looks like the nameless flower.
Uru's face.
The red flowers that bloom on the banks of the Seg River are hated for some reason. So it was no wonder that Uru, who picked up my mutter, frowned.
That flower is a bad omen, Her Majesty.
Everyone says so, but I like that flower.
But the adults all say that it's the cause of the rot.
That's just a superstition.
Why does Her Majesty think so?
Because I remembered, in a dream, a flower garden along the river where I played with Bayal. The two of us played in that place many times and talked until the sun went down. A long time ago, there was a boy who was playing with me in that flower garden.
Were you in the flower garden of nameless flowers?
Yes. We got along very well and even promised to get married.
Married?
But it was just child's play, so I don't think he was all that serious about it either. Bayal looked to be much older than me, so I understand now that troubled laugh he gave every time I proposed. He must have figured that I'd forget that child promise someday.
Or he knew that, there'd be issues with him being like the prince of another land, maybe.
Still, Bayal took me seriously. I pick up the flower on the tray and recall the memories of the past. I smiled while stroking the stem. But the boy did promise.
That person also wanted to marry Her Majesty, didn't he?
Maybe he was just playing along, but I was happy. He even made a ring with that flower and said he'd come for me someday.
Shut up! Dang, the Watson vibes I'm getting from this. No, it's all coming back. A ring made from the flower of death.
Which is why I'm saying that flower isn't the cause.
Why is Her Majesty so determined?
Because I ate that flower.
You ate the flower? What do you mean? Girl, this ring will be with me forever. Why didn't you just dry it? Okay. You ate it? You were able to eat it? His shocked reaction was perhaps appropriate for his age. Hey, I'm 32 over here and I'm like, huh? You did what?
Uru, rephrasing in a hurry, was funny, so I laughed. Yes. When I returned with the flower ring, my brother-in-law, with a look similar to yours now, said, "Where did you get that? It's a bad omen. Hurry up and get rid of it."
Oh, it's Auri's fault.
He was about to take it away.
So you're like, no, I will eat it.
I didn't want it to be taken from me, so... Incidentally, the day I ate that flower was... I think that was the day I developed the rot. But if I say that, I'll only affirm Uru's words. Interesting. So did you already have the rot? And the timing was coincidental, or do the flowers cause the rot, but also if you ingest it, something in it helps you to beat it off? I was also so close with Touya being responsible for saving her, because in a way, If eating the flower is what saved her life, he did give it to her, just not when she was sick. Ah! It's destiny! And I didn't want to ruin my memory, so I desperately searched for an alternate version.
But I think it was before that.
So, the flower?
Ah, yeah, right.
The words are taken over and emerge from the sea of thought. My childhood memories were vacant in places, as if eaten by a worm, and I couldn't recall them. Feeling restless, I wander around the room. The words, the rot, have been occupying my brain for a while now.
How did I escape the rot?
Rus women are more resistant to it than Nasla women? Comparing the situations of the two countries, there is a clear difference in the magnitude of the damage. If it is because of the constitution of the Rus people, well, that part makes sense. However, even just for Rus, the degree of damage varies depending on each region. That results in a contradiction if we're looking at constitution. The next possibility is the living environment. Compared to Nasla, Rus has a large seasonal temperature difference. But even in Nasla, there are summers and winters. I don't think the temperature difference is the cause. Illness must have a more decisive cause. Even so, I, who is neither a doctor nor a researcher, cannot make a definite conclusion. I walk around the room frustrated. No matter how many times I go around the room, I can't come up with a decent idea. Is it too difficult to think about in the first place? In that case, let's think about it simply. Something that Rus has but Nasla doesn't. Because of that, many Rus women escaped the rot. I wonder if there is a serious factor here. So what was there and what wasn't? The more predictions I make, the more new questions come up and my thoughts stray. It's no good at this rate. I sighed deeply and looked out the window. Contrary to the feeling of sinking, the sky is blue. The gentle breeze looks good. We gotta support our boo. But Touya is also working hard. I don't feel right taking a break just by myself. I exhale to correct myself and sip the tea that Uru brought. Maybe you should both go for a walk together. As I dimly looked over the desk to rest my head, the red flowers in the vial shook in the wind. The vivid crimson that sways heals my heart. The more I look, the more similar it is. But perhaps the nameless flower is a little bit more red. Everyone seems to hate that red. The banks of the Seg River were originally a deep blue flower garden, but it turned red around the same time as the rot outbreak. I kind of remember that in another route, where I was like, oh, it was blue originally? What? People were gripped in fear, and some scholars blamed the flowers for the rot. For that reason, the nameless flower wasn't given a name, and the flower was regarded as an embodiment of the curse from the spirits. The existence itself is evil. So Auri cried when I had eaten it, saying that now the rot couldn't be cured. Couldn't be cured? I have doubts about my inner voice. I tilted my head many times to the strangeness of my memory and replayed the scene over and over in my head. Auri's grief at the time was really something, so that's the only thing I remember. But he did say that I couldn't be cured. So by the time that I ate the flower, I already had the rot. Then, a few days after eating it, I recovered from the rot. So you were already sick. Okay. Maybe my theory is onto something after all. Oh no, what if one of the two people that Touya wanted to apologize to was that small girl that he was friends with? Oh no! He was like, she died, I know she was sick, and I never got a chance to say I'm sorry. I'm sorry I couldn't marry you. Oh gosh, my heart. I can see it now, I can see it so clearly. Why didn't I notice this until now? The only difference between me and everyone else is that I ate the flower. That and nothing else. I have to tell Touya! My body moved as soon as I thought that. I'm so excited. Touya!
What's wrong? Why are you in such a hurry?
As I'd run around looking for Touya, I was completely out of breath. Touya stiffened up in front of me, as I was desperate. The flower!
Flower?
I ate the flower!
Calm down. You're not making sense.
I didn't realize I was worked up until he pointed it out to me. I took repeated deep breaths and caught my breath. I ate the nameless flower. Then my fever went down afterwards.
You ate the nameless flower?
Yes. I think that's the only thing that separates me from the others. When Touya heard my words, he put his hand on his chin with a deep thought. The still silence continued. As I was nearing the end of my patience, Touya opened his mouth.
It's silly that we thought of it as the cause of the rot. I laughed, but I was also caught up in that prejudice.
Maybe I was as well. Hey, Touya, do you think the flower is the cause of recovery?
It's very likely.
Then, if we were to pick it and have the handmaiden eat it...
Hold on, she can't eat it right away.
Why?
This is just my guess, but that flower was originally a blue flower that bloomed in Seg. It would have become that color as it fought against the rot with its immune system. The trouble is the toxicity of the blue flower. Just last year's research showed that drinking it could be fatal, with high fever in the worst case.
Eh? But I...
You were saved because you were physically fit, and I think you were really lucky. That's the blessing of the spirits. Therefore, if you want her to eat it, we must first purify it from a drug that kills toxicity.
In other words, one wrong step and I would have poisoned myself to death. Though this was in the past, I felt chills. But I wonder why Nasla was more damaged. I don't know yet.
This is also speculation, but Rus has more tributaries from Seg than Nasla does. Perhaps the people of Rus had taken in some of the elements of the flowers through the river water.
Yeah, it's a possibility, and the river, cleansed it somewhat. Or maybe, some of the poison, is diluted through the water, so you kind of build up an immunity to the poison. Something like that.
Most of Nasla's domestic water comes from the rivers that flow from the top of the Nasla Mountains.
In terms of the fact that Seg's water is a factor, the predictions so far are correct.
Oh, I can't say for sure yet.
Did the story help you?
This isn't just a help. I feel like I'm here at the moment where the history of our continent changes. Thank you again for being here.
Me too. Without you, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to think about this. Are you going to study with that flower from tomorrow?
To hell with tomorrow, I'm starting tonight. I'll have it brought in by the best horses in the country.
His face is like, heck woman, I'm getting it in tonight! It's still possible that this is all for naught. However, it may be possible to achieve my cherished wish. Touya's eyes were full of hope, and his body shook as if he couldn't wait. Just don't overwork yourself.
Don't worry. I'll ask you to help me. Even so, why did you eat that flower? The adults around you didn't stop you.
Oh, come on, girl, come on! Tell him the story. Tell him the story. Oh, Today is a day when we often talk about the past. With a bitter smile, I explain the same content that I did for Uru. And that's why that Bayal... I'm about to lose it, man. I'm losing it over here. Maybe it's because he listens carefully. The expression disappeared from Touya's face. While wondering about it, I finished talking to the end. Blah, 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 blah. We were gonna get married, blah, 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 blah. That's why. Touya? Touya was staring at my face. No, my head? So intently that he could bore a hole through it, unblinking. Touya? I call his name once again. Then Touya slowly blinked his eyes and spoke with a voice that seemed to suppress something. He saved your life! Ah, that's great.
Your hair wasn't originally that color.
Huh? My hair color? I have no idea why he'd asked that question now. I became more and more curious and answered with a furrowed brow. That's true, she said she didn't originally have her mom's hair, but she got it as she grew older. That's why he didn't recognize her. I had been bedridden with a high fever for many days, and surviving from the brink of death, it turned this color. It could be from the toxicity, as you said, or maybe because of the fever. Oh, is that why? I thought her mom had the same colored hair. Maybe I'm misremembering. It's been a while since I did the introduction. Why do you care about that?
Oh, no. It's a rare hair color, so maybe that changed. I just thought.
While answering that, Touya's smile is somewhat unnatural. What he's saying makes sense, but his gaze is jumpy. I felt something else. This is rare from Touya, who declared that he doesn't hide his feelings.
Well, things are gonna get busy.
The one time where it would be nice for you to just say,
Yo, I was y'all!
You're like, I gotta get to work. Fine. Although, if he's calling Auri here, he might be like, dang. I want her to be happy and like go back with her fiance and we can have like peace. I'm not gonna tell her I was the guy that many years ago. We promised to get married and stuff. It's gonna complicate things. Maybe. I tried to call out to him, but Touya turned around and began to move away. Making such a busy gesture makes it difficult to ask even a small question. There was unsettled business, but I had no choice but to swallow my questions. I'm not happy about it. A few days later, I was alone in front of the basement. I couldn't stand the voice echoing from inside, and finally I looked into the room through the gap in the door. If Uru were here, he would accuse me of being ill-mannered.
Lord Touya, is this the correct amount of powder? Yes, that's fine.
From that point on, Touya began avoiding me for some reason. I hate it. I don't feel like I'm being explicitly rejected, but I've been spending less time with him, and I've been brought in by a different person as a research assistant. Even though he asked me for help. The reason, the only excuse given, was that he wanted me to continue to collect information from the women. However, the information gathering was rather calm, and it is Touya who needs help now. Given everything up to now, I thought I'd be the one helping him out, of course. Why isn't it me? I think it's an arrogant idea, but once the emotions come to me, they spread like rain clouds and covered my chest. I unconsciously bite my back teeth and stare at the scene inside. It hurts doubly because he's working with another woman too. Like, it's not just like, oh, Noel's there, or Ruzi, or it's another woman. Like, why would you do this?
Lord Touya, this is... this compound is...
In the middle of the explanation, Touya's hand touches that of the woman. Touya didn't seem to notice, but the woman's cheeks became a little flushed. I hate it! I wonder what this black emotion is. Every time a woman and Touya get close to each other, something that I want to spit out seems to rise up in my throat. Why, Touya? Weren't we allies? Weren't we the closest to each other? I understand now why this chapter is called A Cold Bed. Why am I not there? Why don't you ask me? These questions of why become heavy stones weighing my chest down.
Ah, Lord Touya, your face is dirty.
Nowhere is his face dirty. I know because I have good eyesight. Yet the woman rubbed Touya's cheeks many times. Touya, who is obsessed with his research, probably likes it in an unintentional, somewhat ignorant way. I couldn't watch this anymore. If I opened my mouth, dirty words that even I couldn't comprehend would come spilling out, so I shut my mouth and hurried back to the room. I told Uru not to come in and jumped into bed. Idiot! 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 Touya, you idiot! I groaned for a while, spitting my irritation into the pillow. What is this feeling of indigestion? It's the indigestion of the heart. It was terribly unpleasant, as not being by Touya's side was unbearable. And I'm lonely after all. Idiot Touya. Immediately after saying that, I suddenly lifted my face from the pillow. My aching chest complained that my childish feelings were embarrassing, but I couldn't deny it. Oh, Touya. How many more days do I have to sleep alone on this cold bed? How long do I have to wait for you to return to my side? The more I thought about it, the more lonely I got. Do you know why, Mother? As a talisman, I squeezed the stone that was placed at the bedside in front of my chest. Then I pressed it against my forehead and put a spell on myself. I pray that the spirit of good sleep shall visit me. All you can do with these unpleasant feelings is sleep them off. So I fall asleep, with my pitiful voice being sucked into the pillow.